Welcome, Zhijie Duan, from the company Too High, from China to the podcast The Hydrogen Leader. I'm very happy to have you here.
Thank you so much.
As you know, this format, we try to inspire professionals in the hydrogen economy learning from very successful people like you
Thank
to
you.
talk about their insights in the hydrogen economy, their leadership approach, and how they became so successful. Yeah. So a warm welcome. And last but not least, it is a very special moment for me because you are our first guest from China.
Oh,
And everybody knows in the hydrogen economy, China is a very important market and player. So I'm very excited to learn a lot about China from you. Please be so kind and introduce yourself, Zhijie. Who is Zhijie Duan?
okay. I'm Zhijie. I'm from the Too High Hydrogen Test Company. This company is located in north part of China, Baoding.
Baoding.
Well, it's not a big city. And Too High supplies test servers in the hydrogen business. But nowadays, we not only supply the test, we also supply the test equipment and the hydrogen-related safety consultant, and also hydrogen trainings. So that is who Too High are.
Yeah, and I have seen pictures from your facility and it's very impressive, which is why I think that you have a good insight in the industry. You told us a little bit about your company, but I have not learned so much about you as a person. What are you passionate about?
Yeah, well, I'm happy to work with our colleagues in Too High because we are a group of happy people. I think a happy group can make good outcomes. So I will name myself as a happiness person,
Yes.
not only in this working field in hydrogen business, also in this growing economic climate in China.
Yes. And when did you got involved personally in the fuel cell sector or the hydrogen? How did you start your career?
Okay. Actually, I used to work like as the auditors, like the focus on carbon trade. So I'm relatively familiar with new energy, like wind farm, solar power, or something related to energy. But in the last 5 years, I involved in this company, focused on hydrogen business.
But you are the leading general manager,
Yeah.
and I know that the hydrogen economy is still very male dominated. So how is it to be a female leader in an industry where a lot of men people are working? Is that something that bothers you, or is it quite normal in China?
Well, yeah, of course, in vehicle economic or in the hydrogen economics, of course, there are a lot of male. But I believe there will be more and more female in these industries. And even I didn't notice these questions because it's when we do our job, actually, we do not pay more attention to the gender. We pay more attention to the judgment, to the personality, to the attitude they bring. So I believe there will be more and more female leaders in this field.
Yeah, I hope so as well.
Yes, yes,
Because
yes.
yesterday we also had a guest and she rightly pointed out that female are not a majority. It's actually half of the society.
Yes,
And there is
sure.
no reason why female colleagues cannot contribute to an engineering industry, right? So no doubt about it. So tell us a little bit more about your company, because I
Okay.
think it's quite interesting. As far as I learned, it was created in the year 2016. What was the goal? Who created it? And what were the major milestones in your journey so far?
Okay. The story begins 10 years before. So at the beginning of 2015 or 16, the Great Wall Motors, our group company, want to establish a huge lab and a huge team focused on the hydrogen vehicles. So at that time, we have this lab. So the lab used to belong to the group, but to be a test certification lab, so we need to be independent. So the year at 2022, we began to separate it from the Great Wall Motor, and now we are an independent company. Supplying test service and equipment service not only to the group, but also to the clients all over the world in the whole industry.
Yes, and I noticed, I think you have more than 300 test benches.
Yes.
Can test everything, investing 80 million euros in all the equipment. So I really believe that this is a significant move. And I think from a European perspective, many companies are looking for what are the best practices. How do things evolve? What are the trends in the industry, both in storage, both in fuel cell technology? And I think that you see a lot of these trends, right? What are the major trends both on the fuel cell side and on the electrolyzer side? Can you share some insights? Which trends, development trends you are seeing from your activities in China?
Yeah, okay. Because we are a lab, we supply test service. So there are a lot of clients. They have their products like fuel cell system or electrolyzer or hydrogen storage. So for my view or for the our company last year's experience, we noticed that for hydrogen supply chain, it's a very, very complicated supply chain. It needs a lot of good quality or cost performance equipment or products in this industries. So that means we have a lot of products to test, and the product have a lot of challenges to face. Yes.
And but when it comes to overcoming these challenges, can you share some insights on what are technologies or what are the engineering tricks people use to address these challenges?
Okay, for the hydrogen business,
Yes.
the most important issue is cost and safety.
Right.
And for the first part, cost, it's very related to the quality and the material and the procedure, something like that. But for the safety, most people often talk about it. Is hydrogen, is it safe?
Yes.
Yeah, that is a common question we often asked by the people anywhere. So to make sure the quality and the safety, to find a balance is always the challenge for any industry, not only for hydrogen. For this moment of hydrogen business, because we just started the business in maybe in the last 20 years or 30 years, but in the last 10 years, there are more and more companies involved in this business. That means more researchers, more engineers will have their diligent work in this field. I believe it will be solved with the development of this industry. But for the safety first, we need to control the leakage.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so what I get out of it is, of course, you can invest a lot in safety, but it has a downside in cost.
Yeah.
But if you, let's say, cut costs, there is a risk in safety. And what you're focused on with your services is where is the sweet spot, right? What can we deliver at reasonable costs, but ensuring the safety, right? That is the main focus now.
Yes.
Okay. And overall, I think the hydrogen economy in China is progressing. It is perceived, at least from our view, as steadily moving forward. Let's talk a little bit about the broad picture. So would you buy into that idea of hydrogen is a major focus of China future energy business, energy world, or is hydrogen needed for the future?
Okay, I believe most people believe in this idea, because in China we have let's speak China first.
Exactly.
Because China has a national target to against the carbon peaking or the carbon neutral. So hydrogen, of course, is one plays very important role in this road, because electricity cannot do everything, like the airplane, like the yesterday we talked the steel business, and for some maybe heavy duty truck. So it's electricity cannot solve everything. So hydrogen has to be more and more important in the future.
And what are the, let's say, first applications where you see hydrogen has a commercial use case in China, or what are the trailblazers? Which is it, let's say, the heavy duty sector in transport that you see will thrive first, or is it more the energy storage or backup power systems? What do you think will be the first application use cases?
Well, it's a good question because people always want to find the most economic business model in hydrogen. Nowadays, we have a lot of them in China because in the last 10 years or 5 years, so the government have gave us the target to make hydrogen play a very important role in the economic. So in China, there are a lot of heavy-duty truck use hydrogen. There are ships use hydrogen. There are trains use hydrogen. There are also for the hydrogen storage, only to storage, not use it as other ways. So there are a lot of business models. Even we have the hydrogen bicycle.
Right.
Yes, there are a lot of them. So which one is the most can supply profit at this moment? It's hard to say because we are still on the way. Actually, it's hard. It's a very challenging business. Even now, we are still cost down and we still want to find more and more client or the pilot project in this field. So maybe in the, I hope in the next 5 years or next 3 years, we will find which one is most economic way to use hydrogen.
Right. And speaking about the target of your government, because I found it from the outset, it looks like that the government is regulating everything. Like that there is a 5 years plan, and they know which are the players, and they give tasks, and then they run the economy. But I think it's not the case, right? So there is a strategic goal setting.
Yeah.
But it's not the government building the industry, it's actually the people and the business. Is that true?
Yeah, I think for the government, every government plays a very important role.
Yes.
Of course, but the government can only make the target. I don't think the government can just involved in the business details. They just give up the regulation. They aim a target to show the future of this business, and there means a lot of company will do the project. That is how the world how works. So the company, if they interested in hydrogen, they will hire people. They will do the business. They will sell the product or research it. So for the government, for the company, we also have the university researchers, because in this hydrogen field, we need new technology, of course, to make sure the cost and the safety balance, something like that, to be more efficient. So the researchers and the universities also plays a very important role. So I think every part is important. If they don't work smoothly, I don't think we will achieve this target in the very soon time.
Yeah, and in Europe, and sorry, forgive me to share only a European perspective, but I think it's so fascinating because I would say the current state of the hydrogen economy in Europe is that you see many players requesting public funding and public support to get things off the ground. And what I have learned is in Europe, the reason why this is the case, because so far the banks are very reserved to fund hydrogen related projects. But I think this is not the case in China. You have much more money available for businesses who are working on a new technology. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, because China has a large market, and in this large market, we have a lot of investors. Maybe some of them, not all of them will take this risk, but some of them will take it.
Right.
Yeah.
So mainly the hydrogen companies in China, they are not getting the major source of their funding from the government. Either it is, let's say, very bold and visionary investors, or it is banks who believe in the people and in the business and in the economy, right?
Yeah. People say the hydrogen and any industry is a business. So the government can just support it, or just to aim a target. That is very important. But for the finance support, so the company need to find itself. Like they find their investors, or they have to invest their own money in this project.
And what impresses me is that the Chinese society seems to be very adaptive and very open to new technologies. Sometimes you feel here in Germany that people are very reserved towards new ideas and new technologies. And I think in China, there is a sentiment that you're looking forward to the next big thing, trying to follow a trend much quicker than we here in Europe. And then if there is a trend, people invest. This is how I personally believe. And obviously also you guys are working very hard. Yeah.
Yes, because this is a new industry or new business. All the world is working in it. So new things means uncertainty.
Right.
So for the investor, they all believe that they don't want uncertainty because they want their money to earn money with certainty. Yes. So if there's more involved in this industry, that means they can enhance the possibility of succeed.
Right. Okay, so basically when a lot of people are moving in the right direction, this is more or less enough to move also, and to believe in a longer term vision, because I think just like in Japan, your projects are not set up for the next 2 years and then look, but it's more a 10-year effort where you execute the plan and really work hard for it, right? This is what I get out of it, right?
Long-term plan is very important for new business.
Yeah. So then can you share from your business point of your company, where you provide equipment and also test services in a reliable way? What is your plan and your vision for Europe, for your company?
Okay. Zhijie wants to create greater value to our client in industry by test, because we own a lab. So we test actually in the last 6 years. We have more than 700,000 hours of hydrogen-related experience. So that is very valuable. That makes us to improve our knowledge, our technology, and we have the confidence to make our own equipment because we know test and we know the expert because we do the test every day in the last 6 years. And we also know safety. We have a safety team to make sure the equipment or the lab run smoothly. So with this all related with this knowledge or experience, we want to make our own equipment, and we make sure that our equipment is cost performance, because the equipment, we will use it first before we sold it to the clients. That's very important.
Only if you are happy with your products and they perform well, you have the courage to give it to clients, right? Yeah, this is a good. So this is great. And in the long term, where do you see your company? What is the long-term vision of your company?
Wow, it's a good question because I'm thinking of these questions all the time.
Okay.
For Zhijie, the foundation of our group is test. But test is not everything, because the purpose of test is to enhance the performance of the product or to durability to do more, to do better. So for Zhijie, we want to not only to supply the test or test equipment, we want to help the client to solve the problem when they facing the test procedure or facing some problems. We help them. We inspire them. So we often do some international information exchange communication, like seminar, like the discussion together. That is very important, and that is also helpful for us. We learn from the clients. I believe we can enhance the client's product and enhance our knowledge together. Yes.
And coming back now to you as a leader, as a general manager once again, because also we have many young listeners and they want to know how you became so successful. So what would be your recommendation to young professionals? Why should they join the hydrogen and fuel cell industry, and what would you recommend as a leader that they should do to really learn fast?
Yeah, okay. So the first thing is be happy when you work. That is very important thing. If you feel achievement during your job or during your occupation, that will be a very helpful thing. Or the second one is every business has their own challenge. For the hydrogen business, of course, we have a lot of challenge, the cost, the safety, and a lot of things. So when we solve one of them, do you feel happy? That is really important. If you want to feel this feeling, join the hydrogen business. Yes, it's challenge.
Great. So, and what I have experienced in my life is, when you embrace the challenge, you learn fast.
Yeah.
If you resist change or if you resist the challenge, you neither will solve it and you will not benefit it from personally. Yeah. So, and I think that you and also your colleagues and many people I have learned in China, they embrace challenges for this reason, learning on their own and coming to the next level.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry for commenting on that, but it was so inspiring for me to hear that this stay happy despite of the challenges.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So thank you very much. It was wonderful to have you here, and I know that you are a very likable woman and that you're reaching out also for partners, and I know how much knowledge your company has, and I recommend also that people contact you. It's not a sales podcast, but Hyfindr is driven to build bridges, and we build bridges from Germany into Europe, from Europe to US, but also to Asia, including China, because I personally believe that we can only grow this economy globally together. And this requires a lot of collaboration, which is why I'm so thankful that you come as a first Chinese professional to our podcast. I would love to have many more good colleagues of yours to open up, also to explain the Chinese environment to us, because many people are interested, but it's hard to get reliable information. And thank you for coming to our little office here in Stuttgart. I really thank you for that.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.